Welcome to Ascend Growth AI podcast. I'm Nikki, and today I'm excited to welcome Laura McCann, the founder of AuraTherapy Life. Laura is a passionate entrepreneur and leader who has built a purpose driven brand centered around high quality aromatherapy products and education that truly supports wellness at a deeper level. In this conversation, we're going to explore Laura's journey as a founder, how she's grown the business, what she's seeing in the wellness and aromatherapy space right now, and where she's focused as she continues to scale with intention. Laura, I am so glad you're here today.
Hi, Nikki. It's great to be here.
I've got a few questions we're going to roll through here, and we look forward to learning a lot more about you and about your company. What inspired you to start Aura Therapy, and what kept you going in the early days?
Usually, founders find a problem they want to solve, and the best problems to solve are the ones that you have. So, in my case, I was a burnt out entrepreneur. I had been in the fashion and tech industry for 20 plus years living in New York, and my body started to fail me, and I started to have some really serious health problems. So, as I was navigating all the things that I could do, obviously, there was the Western medicine approach, but of course, everybody was telling me to try alternative methods. Along the way, I discovered energy work, breath work, and aromatherapy. And I was really fascinated by that combination. I found that I didn't breathe. Like I'm a very shallow breather. And when I get stressed, I hold my breath. So I learned to breathe. I found that aromatherapy in the right combinations made me breathe deeper and better and more intentionally. And then along the way, I started to learn about energy and that I am energy and about my aura and my chakras. And so I pulled all that together, and aura therapy is me bringing what I've learned to help myself to others.
Did you already have a business that you were in while you were doing this, or did you start the company as a result of it?
So I, at the time, was consulting and working with smaller brand owners. And the person that had started developing these aromatherapy blends was a person that I was coaching. And I found that it was such an interesting problem because not coming from the spa industry, but really coming more from fashion. As I looked at the category of aromatherapy, I found that it wasn't really in the mainstream. It was very much a function of multi level marketing, and essential oils were being marketed primarily for diffusers. Spa was using it, but also in very specific and limited ways. And then the brands that were trying to do aromatherapy were approaching it from a kind of therapeutic perspective, focusing on health and not really wellness. And I saw this opportunity for aromatherapy to be more like fragrance and to be the cleanest and of the clean fragrances. And I thought that that was something that existed and it didn't. So then I had to go figure out how to do it.
Do you feel like your leadership style even changed as you were going through this process?
Oh, absolutely. So, having been an entrepreneur from the age of 28 and promising myself I would never do it again, when I decided to really build this business, I thought, let's learn how to do it in a different way. And so it's funny, yesterday I was meeting with two other women who are successful and are business owners, and we're all in our, you know, late 50s, 60s. And we were talking about, is there this opportunity to do it differently at this phase in our life? And what does that really look like? And what it really looks like is being able to use a different playbook that's more heart centered, more empathy centered than the typical kind of traditional fear based hierarchies that are more, let's say, in the masculine. And so I'm experimenting with it. There's no playbook. It's something that is learn as you go, but it makes it a different opportunity this time around to be a leader because I really want it to make me stay balanced. And other times I've gone off the rails as I build businesses. So I know what all the risks are.
What does a typical day look like?
The typical day, so I do readings in my business and I'm a yellow and green. Yellow is wanting to get things done, and green is social and empathic and communicative. So basically, I just want to hit that list and get it done all day, every day. You can't stop me. And I'm motivated by that. So, yeah, busy. It's a 365 7-day a week business because I have a retail business. So I have stores that are open 7 days a week. We do events. We do travel. It's like, yeah, I feel like sometimes I'm in the circus.
Always something to do.
Yeah.
Who is your ideal customer?
So we have a few different product lines. Focus has mostly been a retail customer who's a female, and she's usually between the age of 24 all the way to 60. This is somebody who comes into our stores. We have a store in Asheville, North Carolina, and a store in Miami in Wynwood. It's a little different demographic there. I'd say Asheville, you get a lot of more older people and couples and people traveling for the weekend. It's more of a resort vibe. And in Miami, you get a lot of young professionals and people that are more like millennials and Gen Z. We recently launched a new collection called Moodsy, and we're really going after Gen Z, introducing them to aromatherapy again, but with a lifestyle brand version of it that has super cool packaging and speaks their language, because we feel that aromatherapy is really not something that's gone mainstream. And part of it is a story and packaging issue. And so we're trying to resolve that with some new ideas that we have.
Do you have specific businesses or practitioners that do better with your products than others?
Yeah, so I just came back from Canyon Ranch, and they've been a client for the last 5 years. And at Canyon Ranch, we are in their retail store, but we also do what we call an Aura day or an Aura pop up. My partner and I, we go there for a few days and we set up a trunk show, sell products, and do Aura and chakra readings. And it's a really interesting thing because when you combine the experience of the Aura reading with the products, it's a very easy, I'll say, sell, because people understand, and it's like a very personalized and customized consultative approach, and it's all about them. And so that's what really works in our business and in our store. And when we can do that for our clients in spa or wellness, that's the ideal setup. Otherwise, they do carry the products in their stores. Everybody from specialty boutiques to salt caves to spas, and they carry certain lines. And sometimes we're even in the back bar with our chakra massage oils.
That's great. So it's a matter of getting everybody trained on the same page, represent the property, and then having you potentially sometimes come in and pop up or someone like you
Yeah,
knowing.
I mean, I think it used to be in spa very focused on training, and often that meant like you went in and you taught the estheticians or the massage therapists. Training in the retail store is a little different because they sell a lot of different things. The way we have done it is we embed the experience with the training. So if we come on site, we can do training and an experience, and then they learn that process and it makes them better when we leave. We also have added, as a result of all of this, AuraTherapy certification program, where we actually come in and we'll certify members of the spa staff. If they're willing to invest in the same software equipment, they can actually have an Aura reader all the time. And that is really, I think, the key to success, because it really is doing everything that we say we want at retail: customization, personalization, scent that's healing. So in spas, you don't really want alcohol or fragrance oil based scents, which is what most scent is. And then it has the ability to be taken into other parts of the business. And it's an event.
So geographically, where are you?
Primarily, we're in the Northeast and the Southeast now. So very focused, I'd say, on the East Coast. We've been moving into West Coast. It's taking a little longer. And part of that is in physical retail. And when you do events, it's just hard to be everywhere. And I just came back from Tucson. I have a person in LA today. We go to Charlotte. We're in Miami. So we go up and down, Florida coast. So yeah, it's like I said, it feels like I'm in the circus.
What major shifts or trends are you noticing in aromatherapy or the wellness industry today?
So, the fragrance category has been super, super hot, which is a really shining spot in beauty. But I don't consider that kind of fragrance aromatherapy. Aromatherapy still is like an orphan within a category. If you go into an Ulta or a Sephora, there's not really an aromatherapy category. I think I just learned that they're bringing in an aromatherapy brand into Sephora, which is great. It's the first time. I've been doing this for 10 years. So I think we're starting to see this convergence of wellness and beauty. You used to want beauty to be wellness. Now wellness is beauty, and like it's going to blur somewhere in there. But
Yeah.
I think aromatherapy as a category is still a blue sky, a blue ocean category. There's no big winner, and it hasn't really crossed over into the fragrance category, but that's what I'm here for. That's what I'm really
Yeah.
excited to do.
Especially when everybody's becoming so much more aware of the chemicals that are in perfume and how they're not good for you and they're potentially cancer causing and issue causing. And you have quite an awareness bubble that's kind of whoosh coming up and over, which would be amazing for you.
Yes, I think I'm seeing more and more of that. But again, it's sort of like when you start wagging your finger and telling people they should get rid of their favorite
Yeah.
fancy, duty free European, indie brand that costs $300. They don't want to, and they think it's a benign thing to spray perfume. But the truth is, you're absolutely right. I think it's a real challenge, but it's like everything in the grocery store. We now know what's poison and what's not good for us, and we can make those decisions. I
Yeah.
think perfume is still a category that's not demystified, and people don't really think about what's in it.
That bringing that awareness and actually going into some place like a Sephora will make an impact because that's a very common place for people to go to search for things, and having a presence there, especially with the Aura reader, will create a sense of what is this, an aha moment that I think these younger people are starting to pay more attention to.
Yeah, I think the challenge with some of these companies, certainly Sephora, is they're so scent driven with the luxury fragrance. There's
Yeah.
absolutely no way. But if you look at like a Credo who was trying to do a lot of things with clean perfume, at first I was like very excited because I was like, they're really going clean. But the truth is they still have regular chemical based fragrance. It
Okay.
may be a little cleaner, but there's clean and then there's really clean. So
Right.
yeah, I think it's going to happen. It's like anything. You can't tell everybody what not to do, but you can give people options of what they can do. The
Yeah.
challenge with aromatherapy is people really don't know what it is. And so you have a lot of education, which is why it's always been a natural fit in the spa
Yeah.
channel, right?
Yeah. So if I were to ask you, where is your trajectory over the next year for growth? Would it be the spa industry or where would it be?
Yeah. So interestingly enough, we're really focusing on, we're omni-channel. So our main channel is retail. And I definitely think opening more stores is really the best thing. It's very hard to do it. It's a little bit more intensive, but it works for us better than online. Online selling scent is already pretty challenging, and selling online in general is very challenging. Wholesale is another category. And as we go into wholesale, again, we have a kind of unique approach, which is if you put your products in a retail store, they just won't sell. It doesn't matter if it's spa or anywhere else, but when you couple it with an experience, it moves like crazy. So
Yeah.
that's why we do events and we do certification. And the idea is that we come in and we can create sort of like an activation that could be a launch, it can be an event, they could be tied to sound bowls or yoga or meditation or just like beauty, whatever it is, and then they can sell it in the retail store, but the activation is a key piece of it. And that's why we now have certification events, and we really see this as like a 360-degree business. I think selling products retail and online and only doing that is just not going to work, and it doesn't
Right.
move products. So that's the change.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, to mitigate the challenges of getting it out there, it's more about coming up with destinations and people that are going to embrace the product and the experience and implement it.
Yes,
Yes?
exactly. And then, so I think it's a slightly different distribution channel sort of philosophy. But the thing that you see now is many brands spend a ton of money in the marketing channel doing activations, because when you sell online or you're at the mercy of a large retail partner, you have to still create like IRL, right? In the real world activations. And so every brand has to be an entertainment media company and an event company. So
Right.
we're like, let's just embrace it and let's build that as part of our model. It's not an easy thing because it's so much easier to just go say, let's open 500 retail accounts and take reorders. But I just don't think that product moves that way at all at retail. And it's a very crowded space, and the shelves and, spa managers and their teams are so overloaded. They have so many more responsibilities. So, moving product at retail isn't their core thing. They have to do events, they have to do all the marketing. So, like, why not just give them this whole concept in a box, which makes the numbers work and also creates excitement and moments where they can talk about what cool things they're doing, which is all I think the audiences we speak to care about is what did you do yesterday and now what are you doing tomorrow? So fast, right?
How do you use AI and AI tools in your business growth?
I love that. I love ChatGPT and Discord are always open in my browser. I use ChatGPT in everything I do, from writing copy to strategic problem solving to doing cost of goods. So I use it a lot. And I emphasize to my team that they should be using it too. You know, if I get a contract, I put it in there and it tells me all the things a lawyer would. If I want to do an agenda, it writes a perfect agenda. It's really become a part of my daily life. I love also in the morning, you know, when I'm drinking coffee is when I do all my like fun chat GPT stuff where I ideate, fantasize, and come up with cool ideas. And yeah, I wish I could be locked in a room with chat GPT for about a week.
You can wave a magic wand and say, AI, I want you to solve this one thing for my business. What would that one thing be?
So I have a really cool project that I've been working on, which is how to do a clienteling marketing follow-up using the data from our Aura readings, which is in a PDF. It's not something I have access to a database to pull the info out and script it so that I can add more value after the first Aura reading when we've captured a lot of information about the client to continue to give them feedback and counsel. And so we've talked about creating like a Aura bot, you know, an Aura chat bot that really could understand and figuring out how to turn that into like a real clienteling solution. And so I've been thinking about that, how to implement that. And like, does it belong in my store channel with my sales team or does it belong in my marketing channel? And so I think in 2026, that's something we're going to be hoping to implement at scale.
Are there places right now like that you feel like you're losing leads? That you're losing like the business was there, it's there if we could only capture it.
Yeah, I would say that my experience as a person who spends a ton of time trying to understand how to be a very good e-commerce marketer and really try to grow the online side of the business. I think there's a ton of challenges there, and that the playbook that we follow in e-commerce is broken, and that everything they tell you to do, from focusing on UGC, doing ads, SEO, it's about to all fall apart. The wheels are falling off the car. And with AI, it's all about to change anyway. And we're all trying these things, but I don't think it's going to keep working. And so my strategy in 2026 is to decouple a lot of my spend in those channels and move it to events. And so I have a 12-month, one big event a month calendar in Miami where we're going to be doing big physical events to take that budget and move it to something that I actually feel like is going to build a top of the funnel engagement community. I can give stuff away. I can do all the stuff you do online to an invisible person who then doesn't really drive more traffic, costs me way more, and they're anonymous to me and they have no loyalty. So I think it's a fascinating problem, but it's also not like the old days of e-commerce where you just put a Facebook ad in and grow your business 5x, right?
Yeah.
Those days are over.
If you could give your younger self one piece of advice when you were starting out, what would it be?
Oh, you know, I didn't think I was going to be an entrepreneur. I didn't know that at all. I started out in fashion as a designer. And because I guess I didn't know that I just like to get things done and solve problems, that I would always be put on a track of kind of more responsibility. I think it was my last job in the fashion industry when I went on an interview, the guy said to me, "Why don't you start your own company?" It was like, what? Like, that's not even something I was thinking about. But I do think that if I had known that I was going to be an entrepreneur, I would have probably wanted to learn a little bit more about what it is to grow a business. I learned on the job. I feel like I have three very expensive master's degrees because I've been an entrepreneur many, many times now with multiple companies. And each time it's like getting a master's degree. It costs that much too. because you make all the mistakes. The thing is when you are in a business, it's really not about money and making it work. It's really about learning about yourself and understanding and mastering yourself and how you create cause and effect. So I think I learned that somewhere in the middle of the journey. And so now I'm very clear. So what I see is what I get. And I understand how I'm being is creating what I'm getting. And very conscious about what I think and how mindful I am in terms of my thoughts and actions. I worked in my store myself for about 4 years when I first went into retail. When I started the business initially, it was a wholesale business and we did not have retail. During COVID and when all the spas closed up, I had to do a Hail Mary and I opened a store. And so working in retail was really incredibly formative. I got to meet every single person who bought my product and I got to learn my trade. I really loved that experience. I miss it. I'm not in the stores as much anymore, but anytime I can be with clients, I really understand what it is I'm doing and why. And I think that a lot of beauty entrepreneurs don't have that experience because they're only selling wholesale. And to me, that's just like where the magic is, right? Because you really understand your value proposition, you understand your customer journey, and you can constantly tweak it to make it better.
With that win in mind, what do you think was the biggest lesson that you learned out of it?
The most challenging part, I think, is always around the capital and the money. And I think being an entrepreneur, especially in CPG, where you have to make products and have inventory, it is a very technical business. You know, in our case, we're vertical. So we not only have retail stores, but we do our own manufacturing. It requires a very deep skill set and it also requires a ton of passion and it's capital intensive. So if you don't have money, you'll run out of money. If you don't have a business that's growing, you can't raise money. It's definitely not for everyone. And the chances that you will make money are very slim. So you have to find another purpose for why you're doing it. And maybe you get lucky.
Given that you're able to solve problems of that magnitude in your season, what are you focused on right now?
Yeah, right now it's November, right? So I'm trying to look at Q1 and how to hit the ground running, how to align my teams, which have been growing exponentially. And so it does feel a little bit like things are flying around like flying squirrels. And I'd like to have more like nut gathering right now and kind of get ready for the winter. So I'm trying to slow it down, but also to speed it up. So there's a lot of planning for Q1. There's a lot of things that have been started. It's like you always think there's a moment in time where you get that couple weeks in December to calm down, and it ain't. It's just like 24/7. But we're, in Miami, we have Art Basel at the beginning of December. Obviously, Black Friday, Cyber Monday is coming up. So this is sort of the end of the marathon. I can't wait for, like Christmas and take a breather for about a week or two and then come back strong.
Laura, thank you so much for sharing your story and your insights and your passion. You're an amazing leader. You have intentional vision, and you're obviously a great businesswoman as well. Your journey is inspiring. You're going to do extremely well.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. It's wonderful to speak to somebody with a strong industry background. Often I speak to a lot of tech. So what a pleasure. Thank you, Nikki.
You're very welcome.